Drunk driving, underage drinking, fetal alcohol syndrome, binge drinking and alcohol-related violence. Now, joining us today from our Cape Town studio is External Affairs Manager of the awards, the Responsible Drinking Media Awards, Sibani Mngadi. Mngadi, I should say. Sibani, good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Sam.
Sibani, let's talk about how this awards came about and what was missing in the market at the time of establishing these awards.
Well, as Brand House, we move from the assumption that the media is quite critical in setting the public agenda in our society. And we believe that there are a number of competing issues, very critical issues. Currently, we have elections, for instance, which are very important to our society. And we believe that alcohol use and misuse is a subject that needs to be high on our social agenda or public engagement. And therefore, we thought that it's important that to then introduce incentives for the media to be able to attend to this issue. That's why we came up with these awards, to make sure that there is some incentive for people to look at issues of both alcohol use and misuse, and therefore to be able to engage with consumers, to be able to understand the need to use alcohol responsibly.
Those incentives, Sibani?
Well, we established these awards. There are a number of categories that we have. We have print media category, which will cover both newspapers and magazines. We also have broadcast category, which will cover radio and TV. We have online media category as well. We also have category for bloggers. And because we understood that we need to also influence people who are still in journalism schools, we have a category for campus media. We also have community media, which is very critical in our effort to be able to communicate with our communities and encourage the responsible use of alcohol.
Is this a self-nomination process, or do you have a committee that kind of monitors media across the spectrums?
Well, we encourage any member of the media to submit stories. Those stories should have been published between 1st of May last year and the 31st of May this year, which is our closing date for submission. And we do make an effort to go out to media houses to encourage them to submit those stories and to make sure that people get an opportunity to be appreciated for the work that they've done in this subject.
4 years ago, when these awards were started, what was the number or the amount of publications related to responsible use of alcohol? In regards to 4 years later, has there been an increase, and can you give us some numbers?
Well, we have had phenomenal success. We are seeing a lot of progress. We started with a low number. For instance, in 2012, we had about 75 people participating or entering for those nominations. In the last year, 2013, we doubled that number to 145, and we hope to increase that number significantly this year. And we hope that everyone out there in the public, whether as a community writer and blogger and anyone who has published something around alcohol use and misuse, can be able to participate, and we are confident that that number will increase quite significantly.
So we're talking a period from the last awards up to, what are we talking, 8 months, 9 months, under a year?
Well, it should be a full year. When you calculate, then people who have published from 1 May last year up to now, which will be then up to the closing date for submission, will be the 31st of May. And there is quite good incentive on all those categories that I've mentioned. People are going to, the winner in each of the categories is going to get 10,000 Rand, and we have quite a very exciting ceremony set up for the 27th of June, when there will be award ceremony here in Cape Town, and we will be getting all the nominated, or people who are nominated, to come down to Cape Town, and it's a very wonderful event.
From a brand house perspective, though, I mean, you are the guys at the end of the day that's getting the product into market. You're asking journalists to report on it and talk about that. How does that work at the end of the day? Have you seen, what has the feedback been from journalists? What are they saying to you?
Well, there is always a debate, as you know, in South Africa in terms of how do we get people to understand the need to use alcohol responsibly. We have seen quite a significant increase in terms of media interest on various issues relating to alcohol, whether it's regulation of trading hours, whether the manner in which we market our products, and all of those issues are becoming quite topical in South Africa, and we are happy that the media is able to understand the issues that need to be addressed, and participating or joining us in highlighting the need for consumers to behave responsibly. For instance, as we go towards the Easter period, we will be sending out communication to encourage drivers, for instance, not to drink and drive, to encourage people in their communities to use alcohol responsibly, just for their own enjoyment, because it's quite an integral part of society. We need to make sure that everybody understands the need to use alcohol responsibly. As a company, we believe that if we invest in encouraging people to use our product responsibly, and then we have quite a sustainable business, because if you abuse alcohol, probabilities that you may end up being killed or being injured, and therefore we lose a consumer in the process. And whereas if we have people using the product quite safely, we have quite a wonderful society going forward.
Sibani, thank you very much for joining us from our Cape Town studios.